Hi YouTube, it's Ian here, and today I thought I'd talk about iZombie, one of the most interesting new shows to come on TV this past year. I put it on a whim one day, not really knowing what to expect, but I ended up being completely hooked, watched all the episodes that had been out at that point, and then kept watching week after week right through to the series finale. Rob Thomas is a great TV creator, and this could easily be his next Veronica Mars and the Buffy Summers of the current TV generation. The cast are great, the writing is excellent, and the stories are really captivating. But did you know that it's based on a comic? Very loosely based on a comic, though, I've got to add. And today I'm going to talk about some of the big differences between those comics and the TV series that came out of it. And because of that, expect some spoilers for season 1 of the TV show and the entire run of the comics right through to 2012 when it ended. The lead of the comics and the TV series is a young woman tragically killed and forced to eat the brains of the recently deceased to keep her sanity. In the TV show, she eats them all the time, once a week and once every episode she eats a new person. In the comics, she eats them less often, about once a month. But in both, she has to do so that she can keep her wits about her and not turn into one of the crazy ravaging zombies that you're used to seeing in other TVs and films. In the TV show, this woman is called Liv, but in the comics she's called Gwen, and the two lead very different lives. Liv works in a morgue and gets her brains that way. Gwen leads a much less glamorous life working as a gravedigger, waiting for her co-workers to go home, digging the bodies back up to get her tasty treats. Liv from the TV show becomes a zombie unwillingly, as she's scratched by another zombie on a boat party. Gwen becomes a zombie as she finds it quite late on, actually, intentionally. Initially she can't remember why she became one, but she finds it later on. She became a zombie because she was prophesied to save the world from a demon if she did so. Because that whole setup is completely different between the two. They have very different feels. The TV show is much more of a case of the week type thing, sort of like a supernatural CSI, whereas the comics is much more about this long-running theme fighting a big, evil, big bad. In both the TV show and the comics, when Liv or Gwen eats the brains, they gain some of the memories and the attributes of the deceased. And in the TV show, Liv uses this as a way to help her partner solve crimes and catch killers. But in the comics, it's a bit different. When Gwen relives the memories of the deceased, she more uses that to help the dead get closure. For example, in one story, helping a mother communicate with her still living daughter and apologise for not being there and not trusting her throughout her life. It's a very different vibe. In the comics, there's no mention of the police whatsoever. In the show, Liv still speaks with her family and friends from before she was turned into a zombie. Her mom and her son are quite prominent, as is her ex-fiancé. In the comics, Liv can't really remember her life before she became a zombie, and as these memories grow and develop throughout the show, she does remember who her family are, but she tries to avoid spending time with them. Eventually, as is inevitable, she does end up meeting them, and some of them end up finding about her secrets of her being a zombie. But the two storylines between Liv and Gwen and their families are very different. A big major plot in the comics is Gwen's brother falling in love with one of Gwen's best friends, Scott. That's completely missed out of the TV series entirely, or at least it is so far. In fact, in the comics, Scott is a lot more than just Gwen's friend. He's a were-terrier. Basically a werewolf, but he turns into a giant fluffy dog instead of a wolf on a full moon. The comics have all sorts of other supernatural creatures in them as well, not just zombies, whereas the TV show sticks purely to zombies. There's Ellie, Gwen's best friend, who's a ghost. There's Eamon, a mummy, and he's the one who turns Gwen into a zombie in the first place. There's also a gorilla with the mind of Scott's dead granddad. There's also a werepanther who lives with Eamon and is his wife, who's stuck in her panther form except for one day a year when she can become a woman. There's a whole cabal of vampires who run a paintball outfit, which is referenced in the TV show. And there's an interdimensional demon who wants to take over the world. Amongst others, there is more. In the TV show, Liv's friend group is very different. She has a co-worker, Ravi, who works in the morgue with her, and he's widely considered to be the TV show's equivalent of Scott, minus the were-terrier bits. Although Comic-Con this year, they were making a lot of jokes about that, and there were a lot of fan rumours on the internet guessing that maybe Ravi would be a were-terrier, would be revealed to be one at some point during the series. Although at Comic-Con, they were very much pushing that that's not going to happen. At the moment, they're staying purely with zombies. There's also Peyton, Liv's flatmate, and I suppose the TV show's version of Ellie. And there's Clive, the cop who she partners up with and helps solve crimes with. There's also her ex-fiancé Major, who takes quite a prominent role in season 1 of the show, and also Lowell, her love interest mid-season, played by King Arthur from the Maryland TV series, who's about to start playing in Damien. Initially in the comics, you think the big bad is Eamon, the mummy. But actually, it turns out he's just trying to use Gwen to help her fight the real big bad, an interdimensional demon who's going to come in and devour our entire planet after being summoned there by a vampire, Frankenstein's monster-type creature, and a disembodied head. In the TV show, the big bads of season 1 at least are more Blaine, who's a zombie, the one who turns Gwen in the first place, sorry, the one who turns Liv in the first place. I'm going to get these names confused, and I have no doubt at some point in this video I've used the wrong name and everyone's going to point it out in the comments, and I apologise mid-video for that. The other big bad in the TV series, and probably what will be the longer running big bad, is Von de Klerk, the CEO of Max Rager, an energy drinks company that turns you into a zombie if you drink it sometimes. Obviously, energy drink, interdimensional being, very different big bads, and along with most other aspects of the show, the vibe of the baddies is very different between the two. There is an awful lot more separating the comics and the TV show. Like I say, they are very different beasts, but both are really good. I watched the TV show first and then went back and read the comics, and I absolutely loved it doing it that way. I've read some stuff online, people who've read the comics wanting to get more of the monsters and stuff from the TV show and being a little bit disappointed. But if you go in from one to the other knowing they're very different, they are both really enjoyable. There's a lot more different between the two that I haven't covered here today. If you want to hear more, perhaps a bit more about the Dead Presidents, a group of supernatural government-sponsored creatures led by the undead Abraham Lincoln, who help fight other monsters and the demons and things, or the White Coats, the eerie White Coats, who they hunt all kinds of monsters, be they good or bad, and Gwen in a way ends up tangled with one of them at one point. Just let me know, comment in the comments, that sounds weird, but yeah, comment down below and I'll see if you're really interested. If people want to see more, I'll try and talk a bit more about the differences, or maybe develop more about the comics and what they might do in the future of the TV series, because certainly some bits of the TV series are referencing the comics more than others. Other things like maybe the vampires and stuff they're going to leave out because they don't want to become like another show like Teen Wolf or The Vampire Diaries or True Blood that starts throwing in all sorts of supernatural creatures left, right and centre. Although I watch all those shows and I'm quite a fan of all that. But yeah, if you like this video, comment down below, tell me what you want to hear more of, subscribe, like, share the video, let your friends find out about it, and watch the show. Go back and read the comics if you haven't done so. Yeah, I've spoiled a bit here, but actually there's a lot in them that's really good to see. They're really interesting visually. The guy that does the opening visuals for the TV show is the artist in the comics. So there's similarities there. Definitely if you're interested in one, check out the other. I love them both. Stay tuned, subscribe to my channel. I love doing videos about TV, movies, comics, all that sort of stuff. I'll hopefully have more for you soon. So, bye for now.